Today is a story time, and I actually want to talk about the step paparazzis and government official took um, in order to create a homeless stories that is going to come up. And first, I moved here from California to New York, and that was right after my mother passed away. So actually, I came from not California. I moved from New York to Texas, not Texas, to Las Vegas because I needed to get my license, my broker's salesperson license, real estate license in there, and so I can start my real estate business or real estate work in real estate first, and then pursue with the real estate business. When I got there, a group of them targeted me in New York, and they were making my life a living hell in New York. So I decided, you know what, if I move to a different country, to a different state, then they will leave me alone. So I moved to Las Vegas, and when I moved to Las Vegas, and um, I started taking the class. I registered for the class, and then I wanted to take the test. Every single time that I take the test, a group of them position themselves um, position themselves in inside the real estate um, test center. When I scheduled it, because you have to schedule the test before you take the test, at least 24 hours, 48 hours, I think 48 hours. So 2 days before, you have to register the test. And no, 2 days before, you cannot, if you register for the test 2 days um, before the test, you cannot cancel or you cannot reschedule. Whatever time that you have to go to the test. What I didn't know is that they were behind the scene scheduling the test. And when I go and take the test, they have their background, people in the background in the IT department, and they have people in the front desk. At the front desk, they have people in the computer, the test center. Like the entire test center is all people who works for the government and their media company. So their plan was to make me take the test over and over and over again and use me to manipulate the system. And every time I take the test, a group of them comes in and sit at the test. All they have to do is sit. They don't need to answer any questions wrong. Or they don't even have to answer the question. They don't care if the question is right or wrong, because I am here to take the test for them. And at the end of the test, they will swap the score, which is what they have done, they were doing. So I didn't know. So they kept swapping the score, and I keep taking the test, but the test at $100, you have to reschedule this test at what do you call this company? I don't remember the company. You have to reschedule the test every single time. $100. I think was for one part of the test. No, if you schedule the test, it's two parts. There's the regular one, and I think there was a the business, is it business or legal part of the test, and then there is a regular test. So if you take them together, you pay $100. If you take them separate, you can take them separate, but you have to pay $100 each. At one point I ended up doing that, and I'm going to tell you how I tricked them. So what I noticed is, when I take the test, the part that I did very well in, which is the part that I studied really hard, I did very well in. When I retake the test, I did horribly in that part. And I was like, but I answered those questions right. So how is that possible? I keep taking the test, and then the part that I was doing well in the beginning, the first test, or second, third, fourth, whatever, how many times I took it, is that same part that I failed. It makes absolutely no sense. It's because they were behind the scene taking the test. They didn't study taking the test. They don't know which part that I did right, which part that I did wrong. So they keep taking the test, and every time I took the test to swap the score. They swap the score, take their real estate license, and keep moving. And they send another group. The other group do the same, keep moving. And I keep spending money. That's them draining my finances. And I keep taking the test, and I'm like, okay, why is that possible? I answered these questions right, and I know I answered them right because I took the test, I studied. How is that possible? I keep failing this test. It was them behind the scene swapping the score, taking their license and keep moving. So I waited. I was going to New York. This is how I tricked them. I was going to New York. I waited 48 hours um, before I go to New York. I clicked on the center in New York, and I found out there was a test that I can take 48 hours in New York in 2 days. And I know in 2 days they would have no time to buy a ticket or to drive, because usually they drive to New York. So I'm like, this is perfect. I'm gonna find out whether or not I am stupid or these people were swapping the score. I went to New York. I took the test, and another thing that I did, I waited at the last minute to change my name on the test. So I scheduled the test because I know if I scheduled it under my name, they were gonna go there or send a group there to do the same trick that they have been doing. So I registered for the test on a different name, and then I know 48 hours they would not have 48 or 28, 44 hours. So I waited at the last minute and I changed my name, and then I went to New York. So there was no time for them to do anything. I went to New York, took the test. Guess what? I passed the test, and I passed. I wish I scheduled two parts, both parts at the same time, but I scheduled one part. I took the one part, that part. So, and I passed the test. I passed the legal part of the test, and that was it. And I'm like, okay, these people were swapping, because I know for a fact I studied for this exam more than once, and I know for a fact I pass this exam every single time that I take it. Something is going on. I learned it was them swapping the scores, and this is why they keep sending different people, sending different agents come and sit at the test, and at the end, one of them got their license. Keep moving, send another one. One of them get their license. Keep moving, send another one, and they swap their scores to mine. And this is, I kept taking the test over and over and over again. So I'm like, okay, you know what? I'll let God deal with them. So I keep moving, and I think they think that they were gonna do very well in real estate. Yeah, right. So I moved to California. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna leave this real estate thing. Perhaps God is teaching me something. It's not going to happen, and because I always try to have a positive view on everything negative that is going on in my life, because that gives me the opportunity. And sometimes I realize God makes something doesn't work because it's not the place that I'm supposed to be in, and I went there for long term. And sometimes God used my enemies to trick them, put them in the wrong place, and then move me to the right place. So I moved to California, and when I moved to California, another set of agent. It's the same thing, and I keep going in cycles, and my money is draining. And then COVID happened. I came so short with COVID, and I had 2 jobs, but it was so tight, and I was staying at hostels. So every day I paid for my hostel, and it comes to a point where it was so short that they ended up having the lockdown, and I was not able to go view an apartment here, to get an apartment or whatever. So what they did, now it was the perfect time for them to lock my finances. So they lock all my finances, and then they kept collecting money. Every check that comes in, they come in and collected it. What happened to these checks? I still do not know. I don't know. All I know is just money has been draining, and every time that I go and try to find the money, I'm being manipulated by the government officials, police officers, deputies, federal agents, people who works for the city. They kept turning me in circles. When the money is coming, they go and look for a job and collect checks. So the hospital that I was staying in, Um, um, I was staying at not a hostel. I was staying at a hotel, the Freehand Hotel in Los Angeles, downtown Los Angeles. It's a nice hotel, and they came in here manipulating, and then all these things are being recorded, by the way, except for the real estate part, because the real estate part, it was they had to cover that up. Um, and another thing that I realized is that when they're committing crimes, they commit crimes once the crimes is coming. Um, they change names. When they change names, um, like they manipulate the system pretty much. They will make mistakes and tell you to change your name, and when you go there is an extension. And one thing that I realized when they create the extension, um, I think it's this to the extension. This is how they steal money from the government as well. And then they put a black person. When I go and seek, they put a black person, and then that black person, so that black person can become responsible or under investigation for the money that they have draining or they have stolen. Meanwhile, they stole the money. When I am coming to speak, they put a black person, and when there is an investigation, the black person ended up being investigated, and then they keep getting away, and then they circled around, like they move around. Um, that's one thing. The next thing that I realize is that um, they go to this office, commit crimes. They move to another office, that same company, but they have different offices. They move to another office, like they like Barack Obama called it, check and balance, checks and balance, something in the government. And when he said checks and balance, you take the check, you cash it, and you balance to another one. That's how I see it. That's how I'm like interpreted it, but it's not what it means in the U.S. government. But I'm like, yeah, of course, check and balance. You check you you check the government money, and then you balance the account to zero, and then you keep moving. Keep committing crimes. Anyways, um they move around, like go in circles, like they commit the crimes here and move and send another group. The other group commit, move, and send another group, and they keep going in circles and circles and circles, robbing the government. And they are not even robbing the government, they're robbing me too and other people. And anyways, I come to a point where, like, they drained my entire finances, they blocked, and then they were lying, recording, making my life spiritually attacking me. And then I ended up moving from the new what do you call that, the Freehand Hotel in Los Angeles, to a different shitty ass hostel. And then through there, it was game because they owned the hostel, and I didn't know. They kept all my luggages. They locked all my finances. They said, "Oh, we're going to put your luggage in storage." Till this day, I pay all the storage fees. Every time that I go get my stuff, I get attacked, spiritually attacked. I get physically attacked. Um, they refuse to return my things back. I think I have 4 pieces of luggage there. My cameras for my vlogging that I purchased, my lightings, everything is in there. My shoes, pageant gowns, everything is in there because I plan to move to Los Angeles. And they stole everything. And then when I went and go to the courthouse, cases dropped because it's the same thing. The same. Oh God, the system in California is so corrupt. It's crazy. Anyways, every time I go file a case, the case is dropped. Oh, this is not all right. This is not okay. This is like the judge always, because it's the same group. The judge always finds something wrong with the case to drop it or fill out another one, and that's another business. Because every time you fill out another one, they are making money. So they are keeping you. Eventually, you are like, okay, I'm tired of this, and this is how they manipulate. They stole everything I have, and then the guy was like, oh, because I come to a point where I didn't have any money, and they lock all my communication with my family, with my friends, and tell them not to help me because they want stories. And this is how you know many stars, many black stars in California, they have the same story. They, before they become famous, they were homeless. Whoopi Goldberg, um, Viola Davis, Megan Good. It's the same story for all Black people. They already see you of becoming a star. So, like, remember I posted a video. The game, the players changes, but the game is still the same. It's the same thing that they put. The narrator is still the same. You go the same circles like the first one, the one who came in, and then once you become famous, here you go. Oh, this person was homeless, but they don't know the manipulation the media people and the government have had to do with it. So the stories, the stories, and for those of the stars who probably were going through the same thing to manipulation, and you didn't know what was going on behind the scene because many of you are still asleep and you didn't know why you have this before that people, why you went on welfare, why you were collecting food stamps. It's your government officials. They are the one manipulating the system, manipulating you, manipulating your finances, manipulating everything you have, dump you into homelessness, make you come to a point where you have to collect food stamps, because that is the story for every Black woman, at least Black women in California who comes to California. And there is more to the story. I just don't want to go through the entire step by step in how they did it, how they are doing it. And yeah, here you go. And no one thought that I would ever make it at the end of the day, because and another thing, if you make it at the end of the day, you would be lucky, because many people didn't make it because through spiritual attacking you to attacking you through food, prescription, and other, because some people ended up in drugs, and through the drugs, this is where they get you into homelessness on the street, talking to yourself because you're being spiritually attacked. And every time you're trying to awaken and or come out, whatever you have to come out, they continue to attack you, because the point is to keep you and make sure that you stay into homelessness, because they are representing celebrities, other celebrities they are providing security for, and they're making over $100,000 a year. So it's better to put you in a state of nothing, so they can collect their $100,000 or over $100,000 a year, to take your star and swap it, so their celebrities can become more famous. And while you're living in slum, in poverty, and with your star, you're making their money. So they do not care. And I'm saying this for those of you who are on drugs. You came to California, and you came to California to make it, and you went through some of the things that I have explained in this video. Get out of drugs. You have no business to be in a place where you are living on the street and you're on drug. You cannot fight anything or anyone back if you're not in the right state of mind, if you cannot control you. And the thing is, they will send people to give you the drug for free. Every time you're coming out of the drug, they will send people to give it to you for free to get you right back because of your star. Get out. If you need help, go get the help, because you're not going to be able to do it by yourself. Get the help that you need and get out of it. Get out of it. Get out of it. I don't know how much that I can explain this to get out of drugs. Those of you who are alcoholic, there is so many help out there, and I know the beginning of it is probably going to be hard for you. I'm not an alcoholic. I've never been an alcoholic. I am not a drug addict. I've never been a drug addict. So I have absolutely no way to relate to any of you, but I am sure there are works you can do or help that are available for you to go and do the work. Get up and do the work, Because if you think you're going to get out of whatever situation that you're in on drug and drinking alcohol like fish, you are, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Because you see the police that are usually when you are walking, they come up and passing you. They passed you because they are soul tied with you. And I said how you can detect you're being soul tied. Mostly it will be in your belly button. And you will feel a sharp yank. That's mean the police officer is monitoring you, spiritually monitoring you. This is why they are next to you all the time, monitoring you physically as well. Because you do not know how to fight. You're not in the right state of mind to fight back. So therefore, they will take you, they will use you, they will abuse you. You become the government slaves. And then they will attack you through food. You will go in circles doing the same thing over and over again and never accomplish anything. Get out of drugs, get out of alcohol, and get your life back. The life that has been stolen from you, get it back from the devil. Remember, the scripture says the devil is on John chapter 10, verse 10, is there to kill, steal, and destroy. Your destiny is worth more than you think. You might not know who you are in the spirit, and if they are targeting you, it's because that they know who you are and you do not know. Find out who you are, and through drugs, through alcohol, you will never know. Do the work.